Hey everyone, this is Chris Crazy House here, and I finally got a chance to sit and watch the trailer for the new version of Dune. And you know that I did some videos about this a few months ago, and I'm very much looking forward to this version of Dune because from what I've heard, is a lot more faithful to the books, and they're taking their time by doing a two-part movie for the first book of Dune. And I appreciate that. I hope they are able to release the second part as well. So, for those who haven't seen it, go check it out. I'll post a link. You guys can go watch it and come back and hear my thoughts on it. First, one of the biggest things that I like about from what I've seen in this trailer is we finally have a character or an actor playing Paul Atreides who looks the actual age of Paul Atreides from the books. Nothing against the actors. I think was it Alec Newman and who played it on the Sci-Fi Channel, and what was it McLaughlin who played Paul in the '84 version of Dune. Nothing against those actors, but they both looked old. In the books, Paul is supposed to be 14, 15 years old. And that is one of the main reasons that so many young people connect with the Dune book, because the main protagonist is the same age they are usually when they discover this book. So, like, I think I read it maybe a few years after. I think I was 17, 18 when I first read Dune. So, but you can still kind of put yourself in the mind space of being someone who's 14, 15 years old. And I appreciate that they actually have an actor that looks that age, because that is one of the main things about this character. Even though he's young, being someone who is going to inherit this titles from his father, and also having a great knowledge within himself, has a lot of good things going for him. But he's still young and immature, but he doesn't have any people around him his own age. All of his friends are older. So pretty much all the people that were his teachers and mentors, like his weapons master, Duncan Idaho, and Gurney Halleck, all those guys have pretty much become his actual friends. So, and as a young person, I can understand that as someone who had either older uncles, or my brothers are a lot older than I am. So getting to be around a lot older guys and kind of having that understanding when you are young, but you have an understanding of what a lot of adults go through because you are around them more than people your own age. So I do appreciate that part of it. Visually, it looks good. I had a lot of faith in the director, because he's known for these types of amazing visuals in his films. So that wasn't really a worry of mine. I also appreciate how, I guess they're going to showcase the character of Duncan Idaho more, because his character is important, but his importance kind of gets glossed over in the first book, to the point where if you're not really paying attention, you could almost miss it, because he's there and then he gets killed, and he becomes more important in later books. But it's important that you kind of get to know this character here, and he's played by Jason Momoa. So they got a good actor that has a lot of attention and who can get a lot of attention on him to play this very important character, because this character is important, and I think they'll build him up a little bit more. Plus, you'll get to see, within the book, you don't get to see a lot of the battles. They talk about it, but that's not, because it's a book and a narrative, they don't have to show anything. In a movie where you get to actually see things and you're looking at it more as a visual medium, it's good to have someone who has the physicality and who can be this great fighter. I mean, we've all seen Jason Momoa play either Aquaman or Khal Drogo, or even way back when he played on Stargate, or even when he played Conan the Barbarian. We know he has the physicality to play a warrior type character, and I'm glad to see him in that role. Uh, I was also very interested. You don't see them that much in the trailer, but I was looking forward to seeing House Harkonnen because they were my favorite characters from the books because they're just so over the top and disgustingly evil. And some people, I think some people online didn't like the way that they're shown in this trailer because based on the books, we get the description of the Baron and that he has red hair. But if you see in this movie, the Baron and his nephew, played by Batista, they have no hair, and so they're bald and don't have any eyebrows either. But they're very pale as well. And I knew what the director was going for just even looking at the character design because I know the fact that the Harkonnens' homeworld, Gedi Prime, is an overly industrial planet that they've industrialized to the point where the smoke has blocked out the sun. So their planet has become very hostile. So of course they're going to be pale and kind of sickly looking. So I kind of like that about them because they are very disturbed and warped people to the point where I think it was almost I wouldn't say a mistake by the original writer Frank Herbert, but I think it was more of a, how should I say, it's their characterization is so over the top that I don't see how an entire race of people like that could actually survive. But you know, I guess I shouldn't get into that. Uh, a brutal pale race. Do I really need to even draw any parallels here? But you know, it is what it is. But you know that's maybe he took from real history to portray that. But I'm eager to see how they perform in this movie as well. I do like the look of the sandworms. They actually got the mouth right for a change. In both the original version and the sci-fi version, I didn't think that the design really fit the description that you see in the books. This is actually the first time I've ever seen the depiction of what the books described as the sandworms in a film version. How their teeth look like rows and rows of knives, and actually, the knives that the Fremen uses are made from the worm's teeth. So that kind of fits, and it kind of looks almost like a row of like grinding gears almost. There's that great scene in the trailer where the ornithopter, the ship that they use in this universe, is escaping from a sandworm, and I kind of like the way it looks. I would love to see this in theaters. I don't know if I'll be able to, but I would love to be able to see this in theaters just to see the scale that they have a lot of the sets as well as the monsters as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people reacting to it who are not fans of Dune or who have no idea what Dune is about. So they might be underwhelmed. There are people who are Dune fans who are obviously excited because this is a sci-fi franchise that, while it's been done twice, it has not really been done right. So Dune fans are looking forward to seeing this done in its proper context with all the visual effects that they have and a real budget. So, you know, and here's another thing I want to impart to people who might not be familiar with the content. Don't be so put off if you see something in here that you might have seen in another movie. Because what actually happened was the other movie stole from this original work. You understand what I'm saying? So I think I've mentioned this in in another blog where I talk about Dune. Like so much content that came out, sci-fi content and fantasy content that came out during the 70s and the 80s was taken from Dune. Star Wars borrows heavily from Dune. Just the fact that they had Luke Skywalker raised on a desert planet, and he was supposed to be a young boy as well as the main protagonist. That takes from Dune. some of the designs and the ideas that wound up in both the Alien movies and movies like Prometheus was taken from Dune. So you might watch it and say, well, I've seen this before, but like I said, so many people have borrowed and stolen from it. It might come off as kind of different, or it might come off as something that you've seen before. You might not be interested, but I can assure you that the story is a lot more complex and has more meaning to it than what was done in a lot of these derivatives that copied off of Dune. So just give you that tidbit. Uh, what was great about this trailer, and honestly, I don't need to see any more, is that they show a good bit of it, but they don't show everything. There's a lot that we don't see. We don't see the Spacing Guild. I don't believe we've seen the actual Emperor of the universe and his troops, the Sardaukar, who are like the commandos of the universe. We haven't really seen much of that yet, so that in and of itself is more that I would like to see when you actually go see the film. I can watch this trailer and be happy enough until the actual movie comes out, which I believe is supposed to come out around Christmas. I can be satisfied until I go see the film. Plus, I've mentioned this before on this channel. I don't like watching a whole bunch of trailers and teasers. I like watching maybe one trailer and then going to see the movie because I find I enjoy it more when a lot of things aren't spoiled for me. And even though I've read the source material several times, I pretty much know the story. It still will be nice to see this play out with all the visuals. Kind of like seeing Lord of the Rings. Like I know Lord of the Rings forwards and backwards as well, but I enjoyed the movies based on what they showed there. So it'll be the same way that I enjoyed those. I would like to go into this the same way. So anyway, you guys, let me know how you feel about it. If you've seen the trailer and how you might feel about the content itself, and if you're excited to see it or you were underwhelmed or whatever. I understand that the a lot of modern sci-fi and fantasy fandom is very spoiled today, so we get so much content like this. Seeing a concept as old as Dune portrayed on screen might not be what anyone's excited about. You see what I'm saying? Like a lot of young people might not understand why this would be a big deal because they see this stuff all the time. As someone who grew up where you had to search and search hard, even like, to get some sci-fi or some fantasy, that sci-fi section at the video store was small back in the day. Now you get great CGI effects and everything else and great production design on these movies, and they come out almost every other month. And then you got them on TV, you got them in movies, you got them in video games, so you might not see it as a big deal, but as a longtime fan of it, I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, you guys let me know how you feel about it in the comments section. Chris Crazy House signing out. Peace.